Hello, everyone. You might notice this podcast looks a little bit different. That's because I forgot to record our cameras for the entirety of the podcast. So instead, I thought I'll just record some gameplay for you all that you can look at while you listen to our lovely voices. And just see me failing to fight a big old Hydra dude many, many times. Still haven't beaten it. But yeah, if there's references to the cameras and stuff, it's because we did record it with cameras. I'm just silly and forgot to put them. Anyway, enjoy the podcast. Hello everyone and welcome back to Hyrulian Hijinks, the second episode of Josh and my Zelda podcast thingy where we talk about Tears of the Kingdom and how great of a game it is.
It's so good. It's still so
I'm
good.
Ben. That's Josh.
I'm Josh.
No, that's the wrong way. That's... One day I'll get this right. That's
so close.
Yeah. But yeah, we're back for a second week. A week where I suspect both of us have not played that much of this game.
It's been a busy week. It's been a real busy week in life, just in general, I think.
It's been a little bit hectic. We were recounting a couple stories going on in our life before this. Mm-hmm. So I think this will be a shorter one, but we figured we wanted to keep up like a weekly check-in kind of cadence. And then you don't have to listen to like a 50-minute thing. You can just be nice 20 minutes. Let's say 20 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to say 20 minutes. Yeah. But yeah, Zelda's still good, Josh.
It's still so good. I have not progressed all that far in terms of the main story.
Yeah.
Or actually, maybe I lie a little bit. Last week, I had not explored the depths much. And you were like, just you wait. Because something's coming and it's going to be great. And I've now unlocked auto build, which is great. I haven't used it yet except for the little missions when you first get it. But I have already built what the internet has said is one of the greatest machines in the game, which is the basically the hover bike.
Yeah.
And now I've got that in auto build. And apparently it's like 9 charges or whatever, 9 crystals to make one.
Yeah.
It's not rupees for anyone playing at home. It's like...
It's a Zonite.
Zonite.
Yeah.
The crystal, yeah. It's like only 9 of those to make it if you don't have the pieces already or something.
Yeah.
Like, so simple, but so fun.
I haven't made it
you
yet.
Just fly around a bunch.
But I probably should because it would be helpful.
Yeah, definitely.
Help get places. I kind of like... I have thought about it because I've heard about this magical flying machine, and I've thought about it, and I'm like, but I kind of like just running around, just being a little guy
honestly,
running around.
I've mostly run. I don't make that many vehicles and use that much unless it seems required. But there was just a point where I came across 2 fans and a steering wheel just in a field, and I was like, well, I might as well just make this thing.
Yeah, totally.
And I played around with it. It's kind of funny because it's like, it's good and it like, moves properly and stuff. But it still just goes up all the time.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So it's not one where like you can control its lift from what I can tell. Maybe I've got them
it's just 2 fans on the bottom, right?
Yeah,
it's just 2 fans pushing you up. So there's not actually there's no... Yeah. There's no downward force going on either.
Yeah. So it's always forward. Like you can go forward because you've got the steering wheel. You can push forward and it leans forward. You can go forward, left and right and stuff, but there's no control for going up and down from what I can tell.
Yeah.
So you just go up and forward in whatever direction you want until you fall. And because you're on a machine, as soon as it hits the ground, you don't actually get hurt. And it doesn't fall apart. It's a pretty strong little thing. But it's great.
Yeah. It's good to know. I'm picking up tips. I mean, I've had people mention this little hover bike to me, but I really should go about and build it because I'm starting to get to the point, Josh, where I'm getting frustrated and not being able to get to certain things quickly. Mm-hmm. Like as I was just talking about, I like running around and stuff, but like we talked about last week, how I had 1 tower that I hadn't gotten because it was at the top of a mountain, and I'm just at that point where this game has so many traversal options, and it's still not enough for me to be happy. I just want to be at the place that I want to go to. Just before we started recording this podcast, I needed I was like, all right, I'm gonna finally go to Gerudo Town because that was the last of the 4 places I hadn't visited. So I was starting to go there, and I was on my way, and I was like, it's just taking so long, man. Why is this game so big? It's so big. But I made it there. Quite a cool little story going on there that I'm interested to explore a bit further. But I only just arrived there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. You said last time you wanted to explore. I think you wanted to explore the sky more.
Yep.
Have you done that?
Kind of.
He's thinking.
Not really. Not really. No. I think. Have you seen? There's like these star-shaped platforms in the sky, which do have like a relevance to like a particular quest later on that you'll get.
Oh, do they? Because I've seen the stars and I've landed on them, but there's not much. There's like
a tablet there.
Yeah, there's a tablet there, and it just says you can't read this.
Yeah. So if you, that'll come into play a bit later on. So
okay, cool.
I went to a couple of them. I guess I technically went into the sky a little bit because in the northwest corner of the map, where the Rito stuff is, like the cold area, I had done the ground labyrinth. That is right up in the top corner of that.
Right, I haven't done that one. Yeah, okay. Yep.
Which was a good one to do early because it gave me some cool gear. So I would highly recommend.
Should do that.
And also very easy to do. It basically gives you the path through there, which is good.
Right, cool.
Yeah. And then, but I hadn't, basically, the end of that, there's like a matching labyrinth in the sky. And so you need to go up and do that one. And I hadn't done that one yet because it was tough to get to. So I hadn't gone ahead and done that yet. So I did that one. And that was like a little sky adventure, but I wouldn't really count it as exploring the Sky Islands because that was like, it's just another labyrinth just in the sky. So
yeah.
No, I haven't done that much of it still. I said at the start of this podcast, this game's still great. I am really starting to feel how overwhelming it is though. Like there is just so, I think it's the more and more places I visit, the more and more side quests I get, and like my list of side quests, I scroll through it and it just doesn't end now. And it's this thing of like, I kind of want to do all of them, but my brain is struggling to keep track of all the bits and pieces I want to do, and like I've got them in the device, so I can go and look through them every now and then.
Yeah.
But it's the kind of thing of like wanting to do all the side quests, but then also wanting to like know what's happening in the story and all that kind of thing. So that's kind of, I'm just definitely part of the reason I haven't played that much this week was time. I didn't have as much time. But then it was also a thing of, I didn't want to force myself to play it when I was feeling like I was doing it out of stress, because I don't want to enjoy this game out of stress.
Yeah,
you know?
Like an obligation.
Yeah.
Like you feel like you have to. Yeah, fair.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, maybe I just need to take a little break from it. So I've been playing some Destiny, and then I went back to it today. Definitely felt a lot better. Cool. So I think yeah, it's tough when a game is so dense, so tightly packed with so many things that is just like, all of it's delightful. Like, again, nothing I've really come across I haven't enjoyed. But it's just, when there's so much to do, the part of my brain that gets that wants to do everything is like, I'm never gonna get through this all.
Sure.
I'm not going to, and I might one day. But there's a feeling in there that's like, I gotta do it now. So that's my personal battle with this game. But I would say it's a nice battle to have because it's a fantastic game. So I'd rather feel that way about this game than a game I don't actually enjoy that much.
Totally. And the fact that you want to do the side quests as well.
Yeah, totally.
Like, that's a pretty huge thing for a game like this. Like the side quests are always so, there's just something about them. Like, they're just written well. They're always sort of like fun and jovial little experiences. And yeah, the fact that you're not just like, screw the side quest, whatever, I'm just going to go do this thing.
Totally. And the scale of the side quests,
to the writing of it.
Yeah, totally. The scale of them is very different. Some of them are little just like very short little things with one character in a random town, and then other ones are like a whole little mini adventure. So it's fun, kind of. Each of them feels like it has a spot in the game, which I think we talked about last time. They all feel well earned and stuff, which I think is good. And they all tend to give some kind of fun reward, even if it's not a good reward, it tends to be quite a funny reward because that relates to the quest or something. So I think that's cool. But yeah, the only other thing I want to mention in terms of what I've been playing is I went back to Hyrulian Village. And
I
in the first game,
I haven't even reached Hyrulian Village yet.
Yeah, where you could build a house in the first game.
Yes.
And I went back to where that house was, and there was some very cool stuff.
Wait, you could build a house in the first game?
You could. You couldn't like do it to the extent you could in this game, but you could buy some property there and like hang up your swords and stuff.
Yeah, right. I had no idea.
Yeah. But Hyrulian Village is very cool. It's changed a little bit. Cool. And literally just before this, I went into the castle to grab a couple things that I'm not gonna, the big things from the last game that have been sticking around there. That I've hit the threshold where I'm starting to look at like guides for some stuff because I'm like, all right, I've played enough of this game. I've discovered plenty of stuff on my own. So there's some stuff where I'm like, how do I get this? And I just look up a guide because it's a bit easier. Especially 'cause sometimes I just get completely stumped. I'm like, I don't want to wait here trying to work this out for ages. Just look it up. It's all out there. It's all out there.
There is one thing. I think the other scientist that hangs out with Joshua and stuff,
Robbie.
he mentions Robbie. That's the one. He mentions that he's like over near Hyrulian Village at one point, and he's like, "Come see me. I've got an upgrade for your thing." I have heard that at some stage, I don't know if it's from him, but you get the feature that they added to the DLC of Breath of the Wild that shows you where you've walked.
Yep, you do. So I'm not gonna. I don't think it's not really a spoiler to say what he gives you because it's just stuff that was in the previous game, basically on your Sheikah slate. So he gives you travel medallion, which lets you. These were all stuff that were basically in the DLC. Travel medallion, which lets you put down a fast travel spot anywhere, and you can upgrade that bit to get up to 3 of them, which is quite useful.
Cool. Okay.
So you can just have 3 of your own fast travel spots down across the map, which definitely will come in useful. I haven't really used them yet, but I feel like it would be very useful in the depths,
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Excuse me.
He gives you the sensor, the Sheikah sensor, which I was talking to you just before this, which was a main feature of the Sheikah slate in the first game. I think that's the first thing he gives you when you get there, and you do a little quest for him. And I was saying to Josh just before, I forgot how annoying it thing is. It beeps so much. You can turn it off, luckily. But part of me is like, well, if there's a shrine nearby, it's useful to know. But then, because there's a lot of verticality and stuff in this game, sometimes the shrine is like in a cave underneath, and it's beeping, and I'm on top of a mountain, and I'm like, where's the cave that I enter? So I'm going back and forth on whether I turn it off. I think I'll probably turn it off soon, at least until I'm actively looking for shrines later on to do. But then you can also upgrade. I think in the DLC they let you upgrade your sensor to find specific items, or maybe that wasn't even DLC. Maybe that was in the main game. So that's the other bit you can get from Robbie, which I haven't done yet because you need to scan monsters into your compendium, and I don't do any of that.
Oh yeah, you got to take photos of them.
Yeah, which some people are super into completing the whole thing of, and I'm like, I think that's one step too far, Josh.
Yeah.
And that's one thing too many.
Oh man, I keep forgetting about it because I want to. But like you've
Every
said,
now and then,
so much in this game.
Yeah. You've got to pick your battles, is what I'm learning. I've got to pick my battles and what I actually do. Because, if I was going to complete the compendium plus do all the other stuff, I think I'd go crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like I am going crazy already in this game, just because can't walk 2 meters without finding a new thing. But yeah. What have you... I haven't talked about what you've been doing that much. What more? You said you've done a little bit more of the main story stuff. At least you've gone down into the depths. And
Yeah, so I went back to the depths to get the auto build stuff. So I followed the pointing statues, and then I want to keep going. I want to keep following them, but there's so much to do that it's like, you know, I could just go do some other things first.
Totally.
So
we can talk about.
Unlocked
I was going to say
bunch of the stuff underneath, like a bunch of the locations.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I've got probably like, I feel like I've got 15 or 20 of them or something. Like I did heaps.
Wow. That might even be more than me, because I have not gone beyond that. When you get the auto build thing, I haven't done any more of that underground quest, which is the cool reveal that you get when you get that auto build feature, is that Master Koga, the guy who you knocked down into the depths, apparently, in the previous game, is back. And he's building stuff.
It's so cool. It's such a good reveal.
Yeah.
As I got closer, there was like a camp. And there was some of their logos around. And there was a bunch of bananas. And a little message that looked like it was about to say, like, Master Ko, and then stopped and said, like, the captain or something.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to pretend not to be... What's the group called?
Yiga Clan.
The Yiga Clan.
Yeah, they pretend to be other people.
Yeah. It's very good. It's good fun. It's such a good little reveal.
It was a fun way to incorporate them into this game, because I was kind of wondering. I mean, it was like they'll be in it, but how, to what extent?
Yeah.
So I like that they got their own little depths kind of bit.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, I did go exploring the depths a little bit and found like they've got another one of their camps where I found another person with a big vehicle. So
okay.
There must be a few of them around, but
because I think it keeps telling you to, like, when you find the first one, there's more statues. It's a different person. Like the first one was a guy pointing. Now there's a lady pointing. In the next group of statues, and I'm tempted to do that because it was fun just following those and like trailing off for a second to go like defeat some like mini boss or whatever, like clear out a little camp down there and then go back on track. There is like the little bits of exploration are very fun.
There is lots of different statue things to follow. And I have realized this more and more as I've gone down the depths, and I'm like, where does this one lead? And eventually I just get lost, and I'm like, all right, time to go back up. But yeah, I imagine that means I can't remember if we talked about this last time. You fought one of the big frogs down there yet? Or have you run away from them?
I hadn't at that stage. I did. I have now, since then. So it took me a few goes to sort of... get him down, but eventually got there. Because I've got the Rito spirit following me around, and he's helping me out shooting.
Sometimes he hits crits.
Enemies sometimes
he hits crazy. The eye. And I'm like, oh, thanks for the stun. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's so helpful. He's the best.
He is definitely the most useful of them all.
Yeah, nice.
I've hidden the other ones I have a couple times because they just got annoying, but I've never gotten rid of him.
Nice.
It comes in handy. Yeah.
So that was cool. Took out that guy. I have done a little bit of sky exploring. Sort of just mostly shooting myself up in the towers and just exploring the main islands that are around where that shoots me up. For the most part, it's just like there might be a shrine in that area. And I go do that, and I go sort of explore the area a little bit, but there kind of doesn't seem like there's that much up there.
That's what I was about to say. If there's one thing I'm let down by in this game, and I'm not going to say it's a massive letdown. In fact, I'm not sure I'm really that let down, but if I had to pick a thing, it would maybe be the extent of the Sky Islands. Maybe it'd be too overwhelming if there was more. But from what I've experienced, and maybe I actually have dabbled a bit more since last time, and I'm just not really remembering because all I would be remembering is just like doing a shrine or two, taking a crystal to a shrine to activate the shrine. Yeah, I haven't really, other than like a couple of the temples which have been up there, which have been cool use of the sky stuff. I haven't really experienced much of like super cool, interesting stuff up there yet.
Yeah.
There are these big balls in the sky that I keep thinking about going and visiting, and I've been told that they are maybe somewhat interesting. So maybe I'll go visit one of them. Maybe that's my homework for this week, is to visit one of those balls.
Yeah, awesome. Cool.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
Yeah.
We'll talk about those crystals as well. There's like these shrines that don't actually have a shrine there yet. It's got the little circular stone sort of shape, but there's nothing to actually enter at that point.
Yeah.
But you can still activate it, and it basically says, looking for a crystal, go find it. And there's a beam from that thing, from what would be the shrine, over to where a crystal is, and that crystal is on a giant construct monster guy.
That's
I defeated
the first. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I was
defeated
going to
one
say
of those.
that's the first one of those I did, which was on the construct. Sometimes it's not on a construct. Sometimes it's just about the place. But yes.
Okay, cool.
You defeated one of the big constructs.
I did. It took me so long.
Yeah.
Holy crap! It took me like over an hour to figure out how to damage it and make it fall apart in each of its different.
I think we were on a
phases.
call last night when you asked me how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had just discovered it, and I'm like, what the hell is this? What do I even do?
Yeah.
And it was there was like one square that kept moving around.
Yeah.
And I had to just like keep shooting that. And sometimes my little Rito guy would actually hit it, which was great. But for the most part, you just had to use the springs that were around to shoot yourself up in the air and land on it and damage that one brick until he falls apart. And then you go damage the brick a bunch. But he had three different phases that he looped through a few times. And
Did you know
so freaking long
that you can use your Ultra Hand ability on him?
I did for the square one, because I tried to do it at a different point where I was trying to pull blocks out of him when he was like a man in his man phase.
Yeah.
And it would just pull that brick straight back in. It didn't do anything. But when he was like a big square that was rolling around, I did use the Ultra Hand ability to pull that big cube apart. And eventually he fell apart.
You can, if you can latch onto the one that's glowing, you can do the shaky thing to detach a thing, and it'll detach it, and he'll explode into a thing, and then you can attack the thing and stun it like a lot.
Cool. Okay, sweet.
So you brute force that, which I'm impressed, because that would have been hard to brute force.
It's
but yeah, it's I think it's a very cool way of making a boss fight use one of the like other mechanics in the game.
Yeah, it's cool.
There's a bunch of them around. There's like different tiers of ones.
Yeah, I think mine was like Construct 3 or something.
Oh, you came up against Construct 3? Oh, okay. That's a tough one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Great.
that's the toughest one.
That's good to know. It was 2 or 3, I think.
Yeah. Well, number 2, I remember being pretty tough, but then number 3, I've only come across one of them, and it would like shift its blocks around. So like I would try and like Ultra Hand out the one, and then it would move it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay, it was definitely a number 3 one. Yeah. Oh man. So your first experience with one of those bosses was like the hardest version of it. You're gonna come up against an easier one now, and you're gonna be like, oh my god, this is so much nicer.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah, cool.
I'm very impressed, especially that you weren't able to like grab all the stuff like you're supposed to. So you did very good, Josh.
Thank you so much. I'm finding when I come across a shrine, I'm like forcing myself to do it, to figure it out every time. Early on, they were like, I think I wanted to progress the story, so there was a couple where I just grabbed the shrine and then moved on without actually completing it. Purely just to grab that as a travel point. But I've since gone back and completed them. And I've been doing that a lot. So there was another one I found yesterday, which was one where you go in and it takes everything away from you. all of your
yeah, there's
weapons and armor.
Bunch of them around. Yeah, there's some cool ones.
The one I did was freaking tough too. It sucked. It took me a bit, but I eventually got through. It was just full of so many guys on like weird tiered little like boat things that were floating around in a circle.
Yep, I know the exact one.
Yeah,
It's a pain in the ass. Yep.
It sucked. Yeah, it was really tough.
Yeah.
It was up near. It was near the sword memory thing.
Yeah.
It was really close to that because I was close to doing the memory thing, and I did it as well. But before I needed to do that one little mission, that one.
Do you remember what you saw in the sword memory?
The sword memory was a freaking weird one, man. And I don't know where it came from, so I'm intrigued to find more of those. But the sword memory was a Zelda taking the queen in the past out to like a balcony, and the queen's like, we're here now. What do you want to tell me? And then Zelda's like, something like, you shouldn't be so trustworthy. Pulls out a dagger and throws it at the queen, but then it gets frozen. And the queen is like, no, I knew exactly that you're a puppet of Ganon. And then, or the Demon King, I think they called him. And then real Zelda comes out, and she's the one that stopped the dagger from hitting the queen. And then the fake Zelda just laughs and then disappears. But then Ganon comes out of nowhere, stabs the queen, kills her.
And he laughs.
And then does the creepiest face I think I've ever seen in a modern video game.
Yep.
It was the weirdest face stretch.
Yep.
Like it's like all of the different points of his face just stretch out, and then he starts laughing. That's the one. But it's like from a neutral face, and then stretches out to that.
I got the screenshot.
Yeah, the fact that you can see like beyond his back teeth as well, like his face stretches so far that you can see past his furthest back teeth.
Yeah. Well, that's not actually the sword memory I was thinking of, because I call that one the dagger memory, because I think it's to do with the dagger.
Okay,
but there's a master sword memory, which I was thought was the one I was thinking you were thinking about. Okay. So I'll keep checking in on what memories you've done, because I'm interested once you do get up to that one. But that is also a big reveal, that dagger one.
But I've only done 2 others.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that's come from.
Totally, you would not have a lot of context for that.
No, because I've done the first one, which is just where Zelda turns up and they're like, "Hey, we're the king and queen," and then I've done another one where I think they're like, Demon Kings are out. I don't know. It's like there's not much to it. It's the castle one.
Yeah.
The castle picture.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, it seems like the next progression beyond her first turning up and meeting them. I don't know if it is, but it feels like it is. And then this one feels like it's the end or something. Like it's so far beyond.
It's close. It's definitely close towards the end. There's a lot of big enemies around there as well. How did you fare getting to that memory? There's like a whole bunch of enemies and stuff in that area.
It hasn't. Well, I am aware that now I'm like near a town that has been overtaken with pirates.
Yes.
And stuff. And that was kind of what I was going to do next, because I've stopped there.
Okay.
But
Good
is that
luck.
is that going to be super tough?
It'll be quite tough. For context, I have now 12 hearts. When I did it, I had 10 hearts. And I'd been there previously to get that memory and had died like 5 times.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm going to come back here later. So I only just came back there and did it. There's a lot of, you know how the bokoblins and the lizardfolks, they have tiers of colors that how difficult they are. There's a lot of black ones there.
Right. Okay, sure.
So
maybe I will come back.
You can give it a go. Yeah. Talking about the Hero's Path journey, the Hero's Path thing upgrade you get for your Purapad. It was very funny watching mine back last night because you can watch back like your path as it goes, and it has every death as well, and you hear have a little death noise. It plays a little death noise every time you die.
Yeah.
And it was just, it was so funny reliving that moment where I had gone down there for the memory, and there was like 6 deaths in quick succession in that area as I was just getting beat down by these guys.
Oh, dang. That's great.
I remember getting pretty close when I first went there, but then I was like, I need to do something else and come back here.
Yeah, nice. I've got one more thing, and then I guess we're probably done.
Yeah.
Just one more like cool thing that I discovered. So I was in the sky. I did a little bit of sky exploring, and I went underneath one of the islands. I was on top, I think, at one stage, and then I think I fell off. But I managed to like get underneath it. And I'm like, I can just like, ascend to the top again and then continue exploring that area. So I did that, but I ascended into the middle of it and there was like stuff in there. That was just a really cool moment.
Yeah.
Like there were little breaks in the wall and stuff to jump out of the island again. But I went up expecting to just go straight up to the top of the island, but I was in the middle of it, and there was a bunch of there was some enemies and there was some chests and stuff around, and that was just like, it was just a cool moment. It was just a cool moment of like, that's cool. They've there's more 3-dimensionality to this
Ascend
than I would have expected.
They've been so clever with it. I'm so impressed. I'm never not impressed. Even just a little thing I just did in Gerudo Town involving Ascend is like, I was like, man, that's clever design.
Yeah.
It's super impressive. I wish I had more of those cool moments, but as I said, I haven't played a lot, so we'll update each other next time. I'll have so many more cool moments.
Yeah.
I'll so much cool.
So much cool.
So much cool. But I'm also excited as you kind of travel through the story a bit more, and we can start talking about bits and pieces from that.
Yes, I would.
Because you're scratching the surface.
Yeah. I would like by next time, I would like to have the next dungeon done.
Yeah.
I think since apparently the town that I'm near with the pirates and stuff, since that's pretty tough, maybe I'll just start heading towards the Gorons. I think that's the next spot. That's the next logical location.
Gorons is the next one. I mean, where you are is probably closer to the
Zora.
water people, Zora. So it's up to you which one of those you did. I did Zora first, but I think both are good.
Cool.
But that's cool. All right. Well, next time you will have done a temple, hopefully, and I will have gone into a sky ball.
Nice. Yeah,
just a sky ball.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And I might.
What will you have done? He's going to start the game.
Yeah, awesome. Good job, Atticus.
Yeah.
I think I'll also check out the Rito maze and try and get some more gear, because I've got very little armor. I've got basically no clothes.
I have a full page of clothes now, and that is also overwhelming. So I'm like, what clothes do I need for this moment?
Yeah, fair. Yeah, I don't have much. I did randomly, just super quick, come across a random like newspaper quest that I've done, because I picked that up on the way to the Ritos, that sort of side quest, and then came across a dude who was like, Zelda took some of our farm equipment and never gave it back.
Yep.
And now I'm looking for it, and so you gotta drive this guy down a river to a garden, and there's a lady that's like, "Go away! This is don't touch the garden." And then she finds out that the garden.
I found the lady on the way. I found the lady on the way to that stable, and she was getting really angry at me everywhere there. And then I had to lead this guy back to her. And once I realized that was what had happened, it was very funny.
Yeah,
but I love the newspaper pelican guy. The pelican guy. Pen, I think his name is. Yes. He's my favorite. He makes a funny noise every time he leaves. I can't imitate it, but it's a funny noise.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm thinking is
it's something like that.
I'm trying to think of his catchphrase. He's got a catchphrase that he says every time he leaves, and it's a pun.
Okay. I haven't paid enough attention to that.
It's something about like saw. It's like saw you next time or something, but it's much better than that.
I just like that he's a Rito, but also a pelican. It makes me think about all the different kinds of Ritos there are.
That's
the
true.
fact that
I
there
hadn't
would be
thought
like
about that.
pelican Ritos. What other birds could there be?
I
don't know what the birds, Josh.
Pigeon Ritos, penguin Rito.
Penguin
It could
Rito?
be
That's true.
Yeah, a non-flying Rito.
Man.
That'd be great.
That'd be unfortunate. It'd be
would.
unfortunate for them considering all that stuff's in the sky.
Yeah, ostrich Rito.
Yeah. All right, Josh. I feel like now we're really reaching into the
It's true.
the
We're
depths of
probably
what we could be
done.
talking about.
Our 20-minute podcast has reached to 30 so far. So
Yeah. But good chat. Zelda is still good. I think that's going to be the catch line for this podcast.
still good. It's still good.
But yeah, let us know about your hijinks in the ETTO Discord. We now have a Hyrulian Hijinks channel.
Excellent.
Which,
and let us know if there's stuff in the sky that we're missing. Whether you found some cool stuff in the sky that we should go exploring.
Because so far, depth's better than sky for me, personally. But
I agree.
the one thing I will bring up that's already been said in there, and my friend Lucrius, who is also a toe, has said he has played 95 hours. 95 plus hours of this game. But but the catch is, still hasn't started any temple.
What?
Yeah.
Jeez. What the heck? What are you doing?
Exactly.
I know there's a lot to do, but like...
For context, I've played about 45 hours, and I've done 3 temples, and I'm about to do a 4th.
Wow. Yeah. Because I don't know what my playtime is at this stage.
Yeah,
I'll update you. That'll be a new thing to update on the podcast week to week.
Totally. Well, it's only a thing in the past week where we've been able to see them because Nintendo won't show you for the first 2 weeks how long your playtime is. So I think people are now seeing the hour stuff. But yeah, that's been crazy to me. I've been talking to him a little bit in some Discord chats and stuff about it. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm just exploring and stuff. And I'm like, but surely in your exploration...
You just do the story, right? Like...
Yeah.
Because, that's on your way to each of the story things. That's the point of going to each of the story locations and them being in the corners is so you explore things along the way as you do the story.
But anyway, thoroughly impressed, and it shows to go how good of a game it is.
It's true.
Because
there's so much
if he
to
can
do that
that,
you don't even have to play the game.
Yeah, if he can do that without having to actually play the story, it's pretty impressive. Anyway, we've dragged this on for another few minutes, but I want to shout out Lucas in there, and we'll keep shouting you out if you chat in the Discord. And you can join the Discord by going to patreon.com/each their own and supporting with just a few dollars. Yes. And you can come chat with some lovely people about Zelda and Spider-Verse and The Flash and DC TV and Jedi Survivor. Some of these are getting dated. And Ted Lasso, which finishes tonight, and I'm going to go watch now.
Nice.
So until next week. Oh, Atticus, thank you for saying bye. Until next week, Atticus says bye, I say bye.
And I also say bye. See you guys.
Bye.